Hey guys, it's Jean-Claude, and if you saw our last video, I think you're going to agree with me whenever I say this. I'm going to make a prediction here. I think we're going to see either Brobnar or Dis, and you know what? I like our odds of actually seeing both of those houses. Alright, which one will we see? Here we go, it's a Silver or Gray Archon, and... oh, what do you know? There's Dis! How incredible is that? And Saurion, wait... could our last house be Brobnar? Oh, wait, it's not. Hold up. Reprehensibly Phantasmal Vasilis. And we actually have a deck without Brobnar. I'm very excited. All right, let's see what we have inside this thing. All right. We are starting off with Shadows. It's Yancey Gang. It's 5 power. Action, Steel and Amber. A second one of those. Oh, a third Yancey Gang. Umbra, 2 power, Skirmish, Fight, Steel and Amber. A second Umbra. Trust no one, Steel and Amber. If there are no friendly creatures in play, instead steal 1 for each house represented among enemy creatures to a maximum of 3. Kymor Eclipse, shuffle each flank creature into its owner's deck. Inky Gloom, your opponent cannot use creatures to reap on their next turn. 2 of those. Hawk, Amber whenever you play it, destroy an artifact. If you do, you gain an Amber. A second Hawk, interesting. Venda's 4 power, Reap. Deal 1 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, your opponent discards a random card from their hand. Now we're on to Saurion's It's So Salt. It's an Amber whenever you play it. Alpha, meaning it's the first thing you have to do on your turn. You can't use cards or play another card before this if you would like to play it. Play until the start of your next turn. Creatures cannot be used to reap. Interesting. Imperial Forge. Amber whenever you play it. Forge a key at +8 current cost, reduced by 1 for each Amber on friendly creatures. We didn't have anything in Shadows that would put Amber onto itself like Hugger Mugger, but let's see what Saurion has for us. Tribune Pompitus, 4 power, 2 armor. Each friendly creature gets +2 power for each Amber on it. Before the fight, you may exalt him. Library of Paliosaurus. It's an artifact. Action, move 1 Amber from a friendly creature to your pool. 2 of those. Kind of anti-synergy with that Imperial Forge. Centurion Stenopeus is 3 power, 2 armor. Gets +3 power for each Amber on it. Play, fight, reap. You may exalt him. Praefectus Ludo, 5 power. Each other friendly creature gains destroyed. Move each Amber from this creature to the common supply. Very nice way to protect that Amber. Oh, and another way to protect it. Imperial Scudum, it's an upgrade. Amber whenever you play it. This creature gets +2 armor and gains destroyed. Move each Amber on this creature to the common supply. Although, we don't really have too many Saurion creatures. We had 2 guys that put Amber on them, but they're not necessarily too great. They make themselves more powerful. Interesting, we don't have the typical effects we like to see inside of Saurions. Brutodon Auxiliary is 6 power taunt and has Hazardous 2. And a second one of those. Axiom of Grisk, ward a creature, destroy each creature with no Amber on it, gain 2 chains. And oh boy, this is going to say that's usually the last card, which means here's the second one. Yes, that ends our Saurions. Oh man, that Imperial Forge is not going to be that good in here. Honestly, the likelihood of us having a lot of Amber on our creatures is not that great because we do have the 2 libraries in here. They're going to actually just add the Amber directly to our pool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. At least Imperial Forge has an Amber on it. Now we're on to Dis. It's Onyx Knight, 4 power, play. Destroy each creature with odd power. Something we'll have to look at later. 3 Fates, Amber whenever you play it. Destroy the 3 most powerful creatures. Our Shadows had like 3 5-power creatures. I know we had at least 2 6-power creatures in Saurion just naturally. Then we have the guys that are getting beefy because there's Amber on them. I don't know about those 3 Fates. Soulkeeper, it's an upgrade. Amber whenever you play it, this creature gains destroyed. Destroy the most powerful enemy creature. Snag is 5 power. Fight, your opponent must choose the house of the creature Snag fights as their active house on their next turn. Not finished with you, Amber whenever you play it, shuffle any number of creatures from your discard pile into your deck. Misery Exploit, gain 1 Amber for each damaged enemy creature. Malison is 5 power. Fight, you may move an enemy creature anywhere in its controller's battle line. Then, if it is on a flank, it captures 1 from its own side. Lithal, 5 power, fight, reap, capture an Amber. I'm telling you that 3 Fates is not so hot in here. Festering Touch, Amber whenever you play it, choose up to 2 creatures, deal 1 damage to each chosen creature. If that creature is already damaged, deal 3 instead. Exhume, Amber whenever you play it, choose a creature in your discard pile. You may play that creature as if it belonged to the active house and was in your hand. Eterome is 4 power. Reap, destroy a creature of the house with the most creatures in play. And our last card is Binding Irons, your opponent gains 3 chains. It didn't feel like we had too much Amber in here. I guess we had some bigger creatures overall, which is kind of nice. But we didn't have any real crazy, outstanding combos in here. But let's check it out. Let's get all of our Amber up. Okay, oops. These are almost kind of generating amber, but at the same time, I think there's only, what, 2 creatures that are putting amber on themselves? Maybe not so much. I love this card, and sadly, it's just not going to be that strong in this deck. Not even going to count it as amber because of it. Okay, Hawk's pretty good. Don't think we had any artifacts in here, at least not off the top of my head. Okay, and the gangs, you can almost count these guys as some amber, but we won't count them for now. We'll naturally put them up with the amber control. Alright, so we have 1. Let's hope for a 2, 3. Only count this one as 1. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13 amber in here. Let's get our amber control now. Obviously, trust no one. Scudam is typically put up with amber control, but not so much in this deck. We're not really going to be putting that much amber onto our creatures. Kind of crazy to think about. Alright, let's see. Ludo, once again, normally it is kind of amber control, but there's only just 2 creatures. That's so weird. Have you guys seen a Saurian that only has 2 creatures that puts amber on itself? That's really wild to me. Let's see, okay, Umbras, and then of course the 3 Yancey gangs. So let's check it out. We have 1, 4, 5, 8. Okay, 8 amber control. It's not too bad simply because we have these guys here. They're more likely to at least survive. It's slower amber control in this deck. Almost every single amber control is attached to a creature besides the single trust no one. So yeah, it's not amazing, but it's not too bad. Let's get the total amount of creatures up in this deck. And I guess we'll kind of see how many of those are going to be even powered. And we actually will lose them to our Onyx Knight. Oh, sorry, odd power. Onyx Knight is odd power. This is just a real kind of weird, almost clunky deck. It's count the creatures, but it doesn't feel like we had a huge amount of those either. So there's 1, 5, 10, 15, 17. So average. Yeah, very average sort of deck. Let's see how many of these guys are odd power. Okay, so this one is 50% of the time odd. Ludo's odd. Okay, all of our 5s are going to be odd, obviously. Ooh, yeah, it's going to hit quite a few of our disc creatures. Yeah, this deck is actually going to be hurting because it just has quite a few cards that feel like they don't do too much in here. And too many different ways that the deck hurts itself. So if we want to pull up cards like that, what are some cards that aren't necessarily great in here? At least with combinations of others. Let's just throw those up, and this will help you, at least whenever you're looking through some of your decks, help you evaluate it. And if you kind of recognize you have a bunch of cards that just aren't doing too much, well, the deck's power level is going to be pretty low at that point. And Axiom of Grisk, I don't know, it's not too hot in here. See, Inky Glooms actually would have been some amber control as well. Eclipse is a good card, but honestly we don't have that many creatures. So doing it to us and our opponent, I don't know, it's kind of iffy in this deck. Inky Glooms, I don't know, they're not doing too much. The libraries, aren't doing much of anything as well. Axiom of Grisk is normally a fantastic card, but the fact that we only have 2 creatures in the whole deck that are going to have amber on them kind of turns us into a bad card. It's going to be played more like a board wipe and giving you 2 chains. Not Finished With You is kind of a do-nothing card in a lot of decks. Unless you have great play effects, Misery Exploit, yeah, 3 Fates is hard to play. Imperial Forge is basically just an amber here. So Salt, I don't know, that might hurt us. I guess I'm not used to looking at this card. This kind of also could have been amber control, but it hits us first. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, I mean, the creatures are fine in here. There's just no big glaring synergy. Nothing that just stands out being really overpowered. And that's kind of a shame. I'm going to have to say this deck is below average, and I hate to say that because it does have good cards in it, just didn't get the right partner cards with it. I'll say the rating for this deck is about a C-. Alright guys, well thank you very much for watching my videos, and I will see you next time.